All right, guys, look, the Galaxy S26 Ultra has been out for 5 months now, and I've used this phone every single day for everything, whether I'm taking pictures of the family, taking videos, gaming, daily doom scrolling. I mean, everything has been put through this phone. And today we are going to talk about my full experience from how the design has held up, how good are the cameras. The Ultra series for Samsung for the longest time has been the flagship. And do I think that this phone is still a flagship, especially this model with all of the iterative updates that Samsung gave us? Is this a phone you should buy right now? Or if you still have this phone, should you trade this in and take advantage of massive trading credits for like the Galaxy Fold 8 as an example? Let's get right into it. In Samsung this year, I was somewhat disappointed with what they did with this Galaxy S26 Ultra, but now, months later, I have truly fallen in love with this device. This Ultra to me, compared to the Galaxy S25 Ultra, it felt lighter to me. It felt thinner to me. And it's because they jumped from titanium to this aluminum design. And do I think that that has been a detractor over these last few months? And I don't think it is. I think it's nice. This phone just feels so good in your hand naked. It just feels like it's almost meant for me. I do have to say this. I wish I got a different color. This black color has been peeling and chipping and just doesn't look as good 5 months later. And if that's not that big of a deal to you, or if you use a phone case 24/7, which obviously a lot of you guys do, it's not really that big of a deal. And the screen on this phone is the opposite. The glass Samsung uses is so scratch resistant, especially whenever I compare it to my Google Pixel phones. You cannot find a single scratch on this phone. Now, there have been a few weeks where I used a screen protector, but the majority of the time the screen has been left alone to take my daily abuse, and it's held up very well. And not only has it taken the abuse, but the anti-reflective display, while it is a little less than the Galaxy S25 Ultra, it's still easily the best out there on any phone right now. Apple brought it to the new iPhone 17 series, and it's just not as good as what Samsung does. I have noticed that it does collect more fingerprints than other devices with that coating. But when you wipe off those fingerprints and you use this phone in your office with bright lights, in your kitchen with bright lights, outside with the bright sun, it just helps so much having that anti-reflective ability built directly on the glass. But that brings me to one of my detractors with this display, and it is the brightness. Now, don't get me wrong, the brightness is actually pretty good on this phone. But whenever I compare this to other devices like the iPhone, the Pixel, both of those phones get brighter to me on a daily basis than the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and that's indoors and outdoors. And I'm not a fan of that. Samsung, you make the displays for like every device that is out there, right? Why not give us a 3000, a 3500 nit display on this phone? So there are occasions where I am outside and I can't see the display as brightly as I want to. But that's kind of a personal pet peeve, right? Now, if you compare like this display to a phone 3 or 4 years ago, it's going to look amazing to you. It just falls behind with the competition. And one thing I've noticed as well is that this phone seems to warm up outside in sunlight more than I would like. So there's occasions to where the phone just heats up and the screen dims very far down because of that bright sun, because of that heat being generated on the phone itself. Now, the typical thermals on this device are actually pretty good. And this is the first Ultra in many years for me that I don't have to complain about the thermals. I think that they're really good. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves with my Galaxy S25 Ultra is that the thermals cannot keep up with my daily work, whether I'm using the camera or gaming or just swiping around the home screen and web browsing and searching through my social media. That phone would heat up so much. And I'm so glad that Samsung has fixed that issue with this phone. Now, there have been a small couple of occasions where this phone did heat up, but nowhere near as bad as the titanium Samsung phones. But yeah, outside of the display not getting as bright as I would want it to compared to the other flagship devices, this screen looks so beautiful. The colors, the contrast, the deep blacks, everything on this phone looks amazing. The rectangular shape of the display, I love it. I think it is beautiful. And it's clearly one of the best on the market. And it also includes one of those new revolutionary features, the privacy display. The privacy display, you know what? I actually like it a lot. I use it quite a bit, and one of my favorite features is if say the kids are laying next to me and they're trying to take a nap on me, and I want to go in and answer some work emails or whatever, I can actually use the privacy display. And whenever I am looking at the phone head on and they are looking at the phone at an angle, it dims that display. So it's not as obtrusive as the display could be if those side pixels weren't dimmed. I think that's one of my favorite features of using the privacy display. And then of course, if you are on like a public transit, a public bus, some type of public situation to where you want to look at your own things a little bit more freely without people pixel peeping your display, you can do that with privacy display. It's just a cool little feature that I'm not sure how many people actually use it, so I don't know if it's actually worth it for Samsung to continuously bring that feature. But personally, I love it. I think it's cool, and I'm glad that this phone has it. And there are situations to where I use other devices and I say, hey, I wish I had a privacy display right now, especially like I said, whenever I am with the kids and I don't want the display to distract them as much. So I love the privacy display feature. But I will say with privacy display, even when it is turned off, it has had an impact on the screen, like the way the screen is made for me. Now, I'm kind of used to it at this point, but it does make the text look a little bit weird just because the pixels are aligned differently. And I want to talk about cameras really quickly because the cameras on this phone, insanity, from stills to the telephoto. Now the 3x telephoto I never use, but the 5x telephoto, the ability to zoom up to 100x, this camera is very, very good. And I want to talk particularly about the video because the log video on this phone is beautiful. It's insane. I can color correct directly in the phone itself. I can use the audio eraser to erase crazy cars racing down the road or kids screaming in the background of my videos. I think the camera on this phone is so good that it can run my entire channel with no problems. So if you're somebody who isn't using this phone to make money and you just want to use the camera to take pictures of your family, to record situations in your life that you want to remember, I think this camera is insanely good. And one of the things about this phone camera that a lot of people aren't talking about is the shutter lag. I am finally able to take pictures of moving items on this phone without it being blurry. So that's kids running in a backyard, that's birds in trees, moving their neck around a little bit. The lack of shutter lag on this has been a game changer for me. And it's the first Samsung phone I can say that about. And I'm so glad that they have fixed that issue on this phone. And you can also go into your camera settings and you could turn on the 24 megapixel as default mode for your camera. So Samsung, man, these cameras are so good on this phone. I can't wait to see what the next Ultra is like because these are class leading. And One UI is an absolute dream to use on this phone. From the customization, the performance, the stability of Android running underneath One UI. Samsung, man, you guys are cooking with this software. The phone is consistently buttery smooth. The AI features it offers inside of the software are almost unmatched at this point. The Magic Eraser works better than the majority of phones that are out there. Being able to use Good Lock to fully customize my device from my notification shade, from my navigation bar, from my lock screen, from my home screen, my themes. Samsung, One UI is killing the game, and I'm going to route this bus to say that this is my favorite software to use on my devices. Like if I had to choose a device to run for the next 10 years, it's going to be a One UI device. You've got the customization, you have the software updates and security updates, you have the performance. You can't beat One UI here in 2026. And that's without me using the new One UI 9, which is honestly just going to get better and better from here. One UI is an absolute dream. Now, one area that bugs me with Samsung is their lack of innovation when it comes to the battery. Now, let me tell you this. The Ultra series phones have had 5,000 milliamp hours for multiple generations. And now that the Galaxy Fold 8 series is out, and they sprinkled in a little bit of silicon carbon into the battery technology to allow the phone to be as thin as possible, while granting it the largest batteries ever made on a fold device. I am super excited to see what Samsung does with their Ultra phones in the future. Now, saying that, I am disappointed that we only have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in this Galaxy S26 Ultra. But for me, this phone's battery is actually getting better and better over time, which is kind of weird because typically what happens is your battery, it's only been 5 months, right? But your battery will degrade and get worse and worse over time. But as of right now, I can easily get through an entire day with this phone and with my usage. That's making phone calls, sending text messages, taking notes with my handy dandy S Pen. I mean, that is with me using this phone as the main beast in my arsenal, taking videos from my YouTube channel, taking photo samples, using Microsoft Teams for the daily job, sending emails. I feel like multiple emails every hour. I mean, I put this phone through a lot. And yes, while I would definitely, actually, I feel like they have to at this point, give us a bigger battery, I think it has been okay for me. And if it's been okay for me, I'm pretty sure it's going to be really good or pretty good for the majority of people that are out there. And if you do have a situation to where you need more juice, this phone charges so fast now with a cable. Me coming home after a long days of work and I just need to charge this phone for 15 minutes while I take a quick shower, I can jump from like 15% to 50, 60% within that time duration. And I don't even have to think about it. They finally brought actual fast charging. But yes, it charges very fast and I love that. I don't love, however, how this phone does not have magnets. It says it supports Qi 2.2, but you can't really use Qi 2.2 because it doesn't have magnets built into this phone. And then if you do use a case that has magnets, that case itself will limit how fast the wireless charging actually charges this phone. So that's disappointing. I wish Samsung would give us like a new camera layout and allow us to have full magnets on the device. I know that it's going to be a little difficult with the S Pen, right? But I feel like that can't be an excuse anymore because even the new Folds that just came out, they don't even have magnets in them, right? And they don't have S Pens. They don't support S Pens at all. So I think Samsung is just being a little bit stubborn. What I want Samsung to do, give us that new camera layout. Just mimic Apple and Google. Who cares, right? Give us that new camera layout. Give me a 6,000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. Keep the same level of thinness or maybe even a little bit thinner. Keep the S Pen. Give us a 3000, a 3500 net display. And this would easily be the best phone in the world outside of, people not liking One UI for whatever reason. That's what I would do if I was the CEO. But yeah, rocking with what we've got here, I think Samsung did a great job with Mr. Old Reliable Ultra. I think it's a good phone overall. I just wish Samsung would innovate a little bit more with their Ultra line, just like they are with the Fold series. Whoever's running that Fold department, if you could just slide over here next year for the S26 Ultra and make this phone the beast we all want, I would be so hyped, guys. But yeah, 5 months with this has been an absolute blast. But yeah, let me know what you think about the Galaxy S26 Ultra down below. And I especially want to hear from the owners with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Are you planning to keep this or are you trading it in for the new Galaxy Fold 8, Fold 8 Ultra, or maybe a different device, new iPhones, the new Pixels? I want to hear your thoughts. But for me, I love this phone. And by the way, guys, make sure to subscribe because I noticed that 97% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed, which is an unfathomable number. So we have to continue to keep growing this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe if you enjoy hanging out here with your boy. If you watch this video all the way through, leave a comment with an alien emoji, just so I know that you are one of the real ones. And I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.